Gravesend. They just came into the country, they studied in Russia and got a job in the UK as a doctors, and they didn't have residence yet. They couldn't get any mortgages.
Mesud, if you're moving from Russia to the UK, how many years do you have to wait to get a mortgage?
Probably about 5 to 7, depends on your income.
6 years. So there's a lot of people from Eastern Europe that come into the UK. They have the ability to buy a property, they have some money saved, and they have good income, but they can't get a mortgage. But they don't want to rent. So what alternative is there? Instalment contracts are a great alternative. Because they exchange contracts, they move into the house, they live in the house as their own. Some more numbers.
So we took 5,000 deposit, and their payments are about £1,100 a month. So we have a net cash flow of £606 because our mortgage is only £550. Remember, we borrowed the mortgage on the 110, and it cost us £550. Okay, so following that cash flow, we're going to make £36,000 over a 60-month period. We usually lock in our buyers for a period of 60 months, so you want to have a nice return. So the longer they stay in the property, the more we make. If they were going to cash out in 2017, when their contract is up, we're going to have a £57,000 back-end profit. That is due to the fact that we bought it relatively cheap, and because of the fact that they paid quite a bit over the odds.
So if interest rates go up, we make more cash flow. So explain that to the people
Well,
here.
we put on our contract, they have a rate too. So let's say our rate is 4.29 and their rate is 6.29. So so their rate is always 2% above ours. So if ours goes to 4.5, theirs is going to go to 6.5. So the higher the rate is, the more money we make. We don't have any voids. They are buyers, they're looking after the property. The property was very nice, and I don't know why they went in there and changed all the wallpapers. Well, she had lovely wallpapers, and decided to change all of them again.
How much we make out of this deal?
£100,360 net over a 5-year period. If they go for longer, we make more.
We didn't invest any money in this property, just a little bit of time and know-how and effort.
And you got a mortgage, and we had cash back.
Fabulous deal. So we did all that using a JV or joint venture contract, and that's the joint venture contract. It's just 12 pages, and we use that to secure all of our deals, and we use that to secure our deals on the first meeting, so we don't have to fill up a piece of paper which says heads of terms and send it down to the solicitors to rubber stamp it and make it into a legal contract. The legal contract is already there, we just fill in the blanks. So we control the property from the first meeting with the seller, and it contains, each and every contract is bespoke, it's individual to the seller. It contains a power of attorney. It enables us to take control over the property instantly. Power of attorney means that basically we can do whatever we want to do with the property. It determines the terms and condition of the sale. It contains the length of the contract. It has a lock-in agreement, which means that once a seller has agreed to sell us the property, they're locked in, and it's very difficult for them to escape. So in other words, if they want to change their mind, they can, but it would be very difficult for them to do so.
If you have a JV, you'll never get gazumped, I guarantee you.
It contains a third-party authority, which means that we have the authority to speak to their bank, to their lender. Once we've spoken to their lender, we now have the authority to make payments on their behalf. There is no lender in the land that will not accept payments from a third party. Every bank in the country will accept payments from somebody other than the borrower.
We had only one tough bank, and it was JP Morgan. They didn't want to accept payment from third parties, so we went and opened a joint account with the seller, and they did.
No problem. So the 5 simple steps are: find a motivated seller, control or buy the property using a single document, 12 pages, find a buyer. We have a Rightmove account, and we advertise the property for the deposit amount, not the purchase price. Because we're offering it for the deposit amount, no mortgage required, we're flooded with inquiries, so we have no problem selling property. and then we sell on using an instalment contract to maximise the profits. They provide us with more profits than any other strategy available in today's market, and I've tried all of them, and I have many HMOs, student lets, etc. Instalment contracts are by far the most profitable. And then we make shed loads of money. So let's recap what we've spoken about this evening, just so you can remember. What is an instalment contract? Mesud told us all about that. We showed you how we're making profits, massive profits in every deal. We showed you some real life examples. We showed you babysits, lemons, turning lemons into gold mines. And we show you how we controlling property use a single document. We're going to go through very quickly in about 30 seconds that on the 18th and 19th of May, we are running a 2-day workshop where we're going to be sharing all of this information in depth. And we're unloading everything, where nothing is held back. And we're going to share all of our knowledge and information that we've gained over the years and over the last 3 years using instalment contracts over those 2 days. We're going to go through every single item. We're going to give some bonuses away as well. Personal documentation pack, so all the legal documentation that is required, including a protocol pack, is given on the day. Facebook, access to our closed Facebook group. And if you want to come and see us tonight, there's no risk at all. We give 100% money back guarantee if you're not satisfied after the first day. Hand back the workbook and you get your money refunded in full. And for this evening, for PIN members, we have got a special early bird $4.97 instead of $6.97, and we'll even pay the VAT on that. There was a cross on the VAT earlier, but it disappeared. So I think we have some time for just a few questions before we're thrown off. This lady here in the front had a question, but I probably answered it, did I?
It was really just, where do you see the properties advertised that you're saying that people don't want, because you're saying like the lemons that people don't want also?
The question is, where do we see the properties advertised? Well, as a property investor for the last 25 odd years, I've learned how to market for properties, which most people...
Research, I'm saying, is it just networking, research, finding...
Most people in this room are marketing for buyers, sellers rather, because that's what we need as investors.
But there's not like a special website you go to, or there's this mag...
Well, there's plenty of websites that you can visit that people are selling their properties, like Rightmove is the biggest in the country, and then there's Gumtree, of course, where they're private individuals selling. So if you want to work online, there are plenty of sites you can visit where people are selling property. But a lot of investors will already be using that as one of the many, many methods that you can use to find motivated sellers. So there's nothing magical about that. It's just that there are many, many different routes to that. Any more questions before we go? This lady here.
What happens if the buyer, the person that comes and buys the property, can't keep up with their repayments?
Okay, well, let's assume that you're selling the property to me and I'm buying the property from you, and we've exchanged contracts, and you've used a solicitor and so have I. It's a standard conveyance. And then during the process of buying the property, that's after exchange, I fail to complete. Do you know what can happen? Most of us here would probably know, because there's a standard legislation in law that says that you're duty bound to complete the transaction. If you don't, you'll lose your deposit, and you could lose all the money you've paid as well. And I could also sell the property, possibly for less than you purchased it, and I could sue you for the balance.
You don't lose that at all?
But what we would do is that we would help you find a buyer.
Okay.
And we have lots of buyers anyway. So we'd be fair about it. This lady got a question?
Me, yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, I was...
You did put your hand up.
I did.
Yeah, you forgot.
I at that moment. No, with the person you're buying off, so that you're buying off, that you've agreed to buy from, is that are you giving them instalments as well, or are you just agreeing to babysit their in the babysit case?
Each purchase that we make,
to you?
well, each purchase that we make is we use this document called a joint venture agreement, which contains a power of attorney, and that enables us to control the property, whether we're buying it or whether we're babysitting it.
Right.
Once we have control of the property, then we use an instalment contract, which again is quite a simple document, but we've perfected it over the years. We use that document to sell the property, so that we can exchange contracts using the standard conveyancing method, and then instead of the buyer going to the bank and getting a mortgage, we allow them to pay us by instalments.
And in your course, are those documents that are made available?
Those documents are included in the pack together with all of the other documents that you need.
Right.
Absolutely everything is in there. Oh, did we get a 0? I didn't see a 0 come up. There he is. He's got a 0. Would you like to come and see us at the back of the room? And I'm really pleased to answer all of your questions. I'm just aware of the time. We'd be happy to see as many of you as you wish to come at the back of the room and leave your details. And we've been filming this evening, and if you would like a copy of that film so that you can refer back to the notes, please leave your details with Graham at the back of the room, and we'll be happy to post those DVDs out to you so that you can get a recap of what we've spoken about this evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.